Thank you.
I like them. They're good. They work well. You can breathe. Yeah.
Jeff, when you go to read the duties of, that's tight. It switched to the book, duties of, and then it switched over here, district clerk for the
Gotcha.
office. Okay.
All right, good evening. First board meeting of the year. 1.0 call to order. We'll start with 1.1, Pledge of Allegiance, led by the Board of Education. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll start with roll call 1.2. William Andre.
Present.
Jeffrey Gasper.
Here.
Sam Jean Greco.
Here.
Eli Hernandez.
Here.
Kathleen Rhodes.
Present.
Rhoda Overstreet Wilson.
Here.
Ian Phillips.
Here.
Joseph Shepard.
Here.
Danielle Wood.
Here.
My favorite part now, 2.0, appointment of the district clerk. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Eli. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Rhoda? So second by Rhoda, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? It's passed. I state your name,
I, Michelle Major,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of district clerk
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of district clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you, congratulations. If you'd like to sign the book.
Thank you.
Thank you.
2.1, administration of oath to the superintendent of schools. I, Jeffrey Pirozzolo, do solemnly swear
I, Jeffrey Pirozzolo, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
superintendent of schools for the Auburn Enlarged City School District.
Superintendent of Schools for the Auburn Enlarged City School District.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Right here.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Shelley.
you.
Thank you.
3.0, administration of oath. 3.1, administer the oath to newly re-elected board members by district clerk. Eli Hernandez.
We did rehearse it a little bit. We always do.
You can use it if you want.
I'm going to use my cheat sheet. Now it's all of you.
You can raise your right hand, please. I, Eli Hernandez,
I, Eli Hernandez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
member of the Board of Education
member of the Board of Education
of the Auburn Enlarged City School District,
of the Auburn Enlarged City School District,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Wasn't much clapping when I got sworn in, was there?
Thank you, Eli.
Good job, Eli.
Yeah, I learned from you. Gonna mess up the name.
You have to.
Next, we'll have Rhoda Overstreet Wilson. If you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Rhoda Overstreet Wilson,
I, Rhoda Overstreet Wilson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
member of the Board of Education
member of the Board of Education
for the Auburn Enlarged City School District
for the Auburn Enlarged City School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Joseph Shepherd. Okay. You can raise your right hand. I, Joseph Shepherd,
I, Joseph Shepherd,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will support the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will support the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
member of the Board of Education
member of the Board of Education
for the Auburn Enlarged City School District
for the Auburn Enlarged City School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Election of officers, nominations, president. The polls are now open for nominations for president of the Auburn Board of Education for the ensuing year ending June 30th, 2020. Do I have a nomination?
Move to nominate Eli Hernandez.
Mr. Phillips nominated Mr. Hernandez for president of the Auburn Board of Education for the ensuing year ending June 30th, 2020. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Overstreet Wilson. Are there any nominations for president of the Auburn Board of Education for the ensuing year ending June 30th, 2020?
Yes. I nominate Joseph Shepherd for president of the Auburn School Board.
Yeah. Mr. Jan Greco nominated Mr. Shepherd for president of the Auburn Board of Education for the ensuing year ending June 30th, 2020. Seconded? Second. Ms. Rose, second. Are there any other nominations for president of the Auburn Board of Education for the ensuing year ending June 30th, 2020? There will be a roll call now asking for each board member to state their vote for president of the Auburn Board of Education. Mr. Andre.
Like, is there a discussion period on the motion?
Oh, okay. This would be it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can have discussion now.
I'll go first, yeah. So I've known Eli Hernandez since he was my very patient Spanish teacher right around the corner here. I still remember his classroom. Sorry to date you, Eli. He served on this board for multiple terms and has become a principal in Syracuse City Schools. As you know, he recently received his doctorate in educational leadership. From the time I moved back here nearly 8 years ago, in a role with our former Congressman Dan Maffei, he engaged me in this role that he served on the board, but also as president of our chapter of the NAACP. In that role, he's advocated for our students as well. I've been incredibly proud to serve alongside him here and watch his leadership, especially in the recent weeks. As an educator, a principal, a champion of diversity, I believe we are incredibly fortunate to have Eli as an option for president. I believe he is the right leader for our board in this pivotal moment for our district, and I'm proud to support him.
Thank you. Very nice.
further discussion?
I would like to say something. Just since this is my second term, I want to say that, my first year or two in my first term, I've seen this board grow. And I like that we can push each other and we can challenge each other, and it's done in a respectful way. So what I want to say in this moment is there are two candidates that have come up to be nominated, and it is with great respect that I have for both of them. But I've given the second to Eli because I do believe that Eli in this moment would be the best leader at this time. I served under Eli in a couple different capacities, so I know what he is capable of doing, but I also have seen him reach across and pull other people in. There's some talents and skills that he has that I think would lend well to this position. But I want it to be said that regardless of what happens, this board needs to remain, growing and developing like we have in the past couple of years, because I think we've done some really good work. And I think we support each other in ways that I haven't necessarily seen before, but I think that we can bring the best out of each other.
I too have some words about Joe, and with great respect for Eli and Joe, no question about it. And members of the board have all done a great job, and I'm very proud to serve alongside you. In Joe's case, I've watched him grow under Kathy's leadership, and what most impresses me about Joe, and it's not taken away from anybody else, he's very involved with the kids in many, many facets that we have in the Auburn School District. And he doesn't hesitate to fight for what's needed for the kids, whether it be a piece of equipment, a program, something that goes array, he's right there by the kid's side. That's what I think is his biggest strong point. Plus, he's very knowledgeable. He's managed to hold his reins, becoming a teacher, and he impresses me as someone who's really got a grip on things. Not to say that no one else does. It's just my personal preference. And again, I spoke last time about having the time for the board, having the commitment to the board. It's extremely important, especially now. And there's so much going on, so many different things in the world that we all know. But right now, I think he's best fitted for the commitment that needs to be done.
I'm glad that you said those things, Sam, because for the past 9 years, I've sat on this board, mainly right in this area, because I think this side looks better for me. And I've attempted to, in many times, talk to the board leadership and share ways in which the rest of the board can be engaged, okay? In some cases, you've seen little bits and pieces of that, but that has not come into fruition, okay? All the time that I speak with the board president in the past, we've agreed, but we haven't pulled the trigger. And I mean that respectfully as far as getting it done, executing of mobilizing every single one of us in the manner that we should. So I did finish my doctorate. I did come off 2 boards. I am a school principal. I am the president of the NAACP. I am very involved. I don't have time to waste, so I won't be wasting anyone's time. I do want to say that I have yet to see anyone lay out a first 90-day plan, which I have and sent it to all of you. And I sent it to all of you around noon because I was waiting for feedback from 1 or 2 folks that I have sent it to. This is what I lay out. We lack the board leadership of communication. We need to do a better job at that. Okay, I've laid out a plan. Our next board meeting is July 28th. There's 3 other Tuesdays that we can meet to be able to get us where we need to. Bottom line is, there's a lot of work to do. If you've noticed, my questions to the board, to the superintendent, have always been about how do we get to the next level. And I'm constantly challenging you, and will continue to do so, whether in the role or not. But the time for us to step up and put ourselves in a position that we're growing and that we're moving along, the time is now. And I truly believe 100% that I'm the person to be able to lead us in that leadership role. Joe and I have had conversation, we ran together along with Rhoda. So it's not about that, but it's a matter of doing what is right. I am in a position where I'm not new to teaching. I'm not new to the position that I have. I am well grounded in the work that I've done, and that I'm doing. So this is just a simple task to get us to where we need to. I am a very collaborative person, so it's not going to be where I shove down your throat and you agree. It's going to be a conversation where we all going to have the tough conversations, as I've attempted to do many times, and be able to come to the best resolution. I only say that. I would not want to, this is not another feather on my cap. Many times I've said I'm running for a board, and I've always come back and said, no, you've been there. And the reason for that is because it wasn't the time. It wasn't the time because there were other things in my life that were brewing. Those things have settled, and now we need to get to the place where we're supposed to be. And the superintendent and I have a good relationship where he knows and understands that no matter what, he knows I'll call him and say, where are we with this? Just the same way I lobbied for a plan for a reopening. So I'm glad that we have that coming up and that it's running. That is the work that I do. So I ask all of you that it's not about who's been in a position prior and that there is a pecking order. I ask you to consider the fact that who is the person that can lead us, that can articulate the work, and that knows and understands this work, okay? Again, with no disrespect to Joe, but if you look at what I've done, not only outside of this community, but within this community, and when it's related to school boards and in education, I think I am your person that you would want. But we are a board, and we are all entitled to make a decision, so I appreciate that.
And I just want to say one more thing to you, Relay, too. I think what you've been doing with the NAACP and everything that's been on the forefront in the last few weeks, doing a masterful job, and I appreciate that. And that probably was one of the only things that I thought to myself, I think in that role that you're doing, they need you more than we do at this point. And that's my feeling. I mean, because I've watched you, I've seen what you said, I've attended the rallies, and you're doing a great job there. And not that you wouldn't have been that, but I think that's, right now, that's your high point, you know, and I think people need you there, and we need you there.
So I think, so for those of you who may not know, before I went into education, before I went into economic development, before I worked in theater as a theater manager, technician, for a long time. The thing about theater and managing an organization like that is that it is all about collaboration. For the last couple of years, while we have grown as a board, I completely agree with you, Rhoda, and there's been a lot of really, really good discussions that have been happening around this table, around, you know, the internet table, or whatever. There is still a lack of collaboration with all 9 of us. There's some division, and that's bound to happen in any group of people, and it's understandable. There are different visions of what a board member is, and that's also understandable. But what I've prided myself in my entire career, throughout my theatrical career, and even now, is managing arts organizations in the city, is my ability to bring together groups of people who don't agree. I know that I don't have the experience in education that Eli does. I know that I am a first-year teacher that really didn't even have a first year teaching. A first-year internet game show host. But what I do have is the ability to plan and goal set and to use data and collaboration to drive those plans for the goals. Eli, I saw your 90-day plan. It's a lot of my same ideas. It's a lot of what we discussed during our discussions on the campaign trail, I guess, or on the campaign back of your car. My main goal and my main priority has always been to the students of this district. When I moved back here 6 years ago, we came back here for my children to have the same opportunities that my wife and I had growing up. My main focus is getting my children and everybody's children those same opportunities. I don't have any allegiance other than the children of this district. None. The children, I don't even work for my wife. I work for my kids. And this board is my highest priority. This is my priority. I serve on a lot of other nonprofit organizations. I work within a lot of other groups. This is my priority. All those go to the wayside when something for this board comes up. This board and these children, going to their events, going to their concerts, going to as many games as I can. I don't like basketball, but I go. I've learned to like soccer. But that's my priority. And I know that all of us are extremely busy, and all of us love the kids in this district. But I just want that to be known, that is where all of my allegiance lies, is only with the children of this district, nobody else. So, thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, at this time, there will be a roll call vote asking each board member to state their vote for president of the Auburn Board of Education. Mr. Andre.
Joe Shepard.
Mr. Gasper.
Mr. Shepard.
Mr. Jean Greco.
Mr. Shepherd?
Dr. Hernandez.
Eli Hernandez.
Dr. Overstreet Wilson.
Eli Hernandez.
Mr. Phillips.
Eli Hernandez.
Mrs. Rose.
Mr. Shepherd.
Mr. Shepherd.
Joe Shepard.
Ms. Wood. Eli Hernandez. This will carry 5 votes for Mr. Shepherd and 4 for Dr. Hernandez. Now we will proceed to item 4.1. Election of president. Can I have a motion? Moved by Sam,
Second.
seconded by Eli. Discussion? Opposed? Abstained? Passed. I will now administer the oath to the newly elected board president. You can come forward. Joe, if you raise your right hand, please. I, Joseph Shepherd, do solemnly swear
I, Joseph Shepard, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
President of the Board of Education
President of the Board of Education
for the Auburn Enlarged City School District,
for the Auburn Enlarged City School District,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Election of officers, nominations for vice president. The polls are now open for nominations for vice president of the Auburn Board of Education for the ensuing year ending June 30th, 2020. Do I have a nomination?
I know I need Kathy.
Mr. Gasper nominated Mrs. Rhodes for Vice President of the Auburn Board of Education for the ensuing year, June 30th, 2020. Seconded by
Second.
Jean Greco. Are there any other nominations for Vice President of the Board of Education for the ensuing year ending June 30th, 2020?
I nominate Eli Hernandez.
Dr. Overstreet Wilson nominates Dr. Hernandez for Vice President of the Auburn Board of Education for the ensuing year ending June 30th, 2020. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Bill. Are there any other nominations for Vice President of the Auburn Board of Education for the ensuing year, June 30th, 2020? Any discussion?
I would just like to say that I think a team of Joe Shepherd and Dr. Eli Hernandez is exactly what this district needs. I had the pleasure of campaigning and at the back of Eli's car, so I heard a lot of conversations about their thoughts and philosophies around education, around board governance. But what struck me most is their alignment on goals for kids and goals for diversity. So if these two become board leadership, then I know that the things that I'm most passionate about, making sure that there are people in the building that look like the kids that we serve, one, and also better communication, because I think that that is important as well. And it's two ways. We need to be better at communicating with the district leadership and vice versa. I just think that these two, their skill sets will play off of one another, and I think for what maybe one person lacks, the other person will fill in the gaps, and then it will be reciprocal in the other way. I just think that these two, knowing their passions and how they feel about kids, I think it would be dynamic for this board.
I'd just like to say, every one of us sitting here would have never predicted what took place in the last 4.5 months. Nobody. And serving as president in that time period can be extremely grueling and take up a lot of time. And I want to, regardless of what happens, I want to commend Kathy because she's held the whole thing together. You know, I can just tell from some of the things that she said to me or whatever, it was a lot of work, and she had her heart into it. And not that anybody wouldn't, but this was extremely difficult. And I have to give her kudos. Anybody that could stand up and did. I did 2 things as vice president, and I'll be damned. I couldn't do under this kind of stress. All of you sitting here, superintendent, everybody, this has been incredible, and it's not over yet. And all I can say is kudos to everybody. Everybody's well-deserved a pat on the back and keep going forward because there's a lot coming down the pipe. So, Kathy, thank you. And whatever transpires, transpires. But you did a heck of a job, a yeoman's job. Thank you, Kathy.
I respectfully was proud of what the president. I support you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, I'll still go forward with a roll call, now asking each board member to state their vote for Vice President of the Auburn Board of Education. Mr. Andre?
Eli.
Mr. Gasper?
Eli.
Mr. Jean Greco?
Eli.
Dr. Hernandez?
Eli.
Dr. Overstreet Wilson?
Eli.
Mr. Phillips?
Eli.
Mrs. Rhodes? Mr. Shepherd?
Eli.
And Ms. Wood? Eli. This carries 9 votes for Eli Hernandez. We will now proceed to item 4.2. 4.2 is election of vice president. Eli? So, should Joe, take over here? Or?
No, just take a motion.
Okay, could I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Rhoda. Second by, was it Jeff? Discussion? Opposed? Abstained? Passed. I'll now administer the oath to the newly elected vice president.
Everybody approved that, right? I'm both okay. Well, I know. That's why I didn't hear anybody say.
Everyone's really quiet. I don't know how you can tell. That's a lot. Eli, you could raise your
That's
right
okay.
hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Eli Hernandez,
I-
solemnly swear
I, Eli Hernandez, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
Vice President of the Board of Education
Vice President of the Board of Education
for the Auburn Enlarged City School District
for the Auburn Enlarged City School District,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
At this time, Joe, I'll have you come up and take the presidency. Eli, it's gonna be the first time in 5 years that you haven't been sitting to my left. Now you're gonna be way to my right. So I'll have you guys move, to your seat. Shelley's gonna go back to her spot. I just wanna take a minute to make a couple of comments. I've been very fortunate. I've been the superintendent here for 5 years, and I've had great leadership. First with Mike McCall, and then with Kathy. And I'm very appreciative of the leadership that I've got. I've had to work as a team. Kathy has done a ton more than anybody knows. Poor Joe is now going to find out actually how many times I call per day, per week. The only time Joe ever gets a call is when Kathy doesn't answer, which isn't very often. Kathy is very knowledgeable. She's a knowledgeable educator. She's a parent. She's a community member. She loves this district more than anything. I can't thank you enough for all the guidance you gave me. And Sam, you're absolutely correct. This is unprecedented time. Nobody knows what they're doing, including doctors. People don't know what COVID-19 is. People think that we should have these reopening plans when nobody knows what the guidelines should look like, because we don't even know what we're moving forward with planning. But again, it's blindly like we do with budgeting. But Kathy was there all the time to support me. I appreciate, Kathy, your 2 years of being president with me. I greatly appreciate everything. 2 or 3? 2. Yeah, because Mike was 3. But I appreciate everything that you've done. And I will tell you that the board tonight was a class act. You guys said good things about everyone. You all have strong traits. I don't know what it's going to be like working with Eli and Joe. I'm a little nervous for myself. But no, I'm very excited about where the future is going to go. But like Rhoda said, it's okay to disagree as long as we do it respectfully and we listen to one another and we move on and we can continue to build off of where we are right now, because I do think that we have a lot of work ahead of us. We don't even know what the future looks like, but all we can do is make sure that our kids are successful, take care of our staff and in ourselves and one another. But I'm looking forward, and I say congratulations to both of you. Welcome aboard. Thank you.
Can I, at risk of holding the meeting up, I just wanted to say thanks. I've often been the stone thrower from the end of the bench at Kathy, and been critical of different things, but I do respect the tremendous amount of work that Kathy put in. This is a truly incredible, challenging time, and I think every meeting that I was in, Kathy was in, And even if we disagreed, I tremendously respect, the time commitment that you put in, especially in this crazy moment that we're all living through together, on this board. So thank you very much, Kathy, for your service.
Kathy, I'll just, I guess, finish off. Thank you for everything that you taught me over the last 2 years. You were incredibly patient with me, especially my first year. And very, accommodating to my schedule, driving back and forth from Oswego last year and everything. I learned a great deal from you about education and about patience and about leadership over the last couple of years. Thank you very much for everything.
I know we're probably going to go all around, but Kathy, you know that you and I have known each other for quite some time, and we're constantly always talking. When you were vice president, we talked. When you were president, we talked. And like I said with you when we were on the phone, said to you when we were on the phone, it's like we agree almost on everything. It's a matter of trying to really get us all now riled up to get there. The work that you've done, being in this position, and at a time when we just went to from brick and mortar to shut down, it's tremendous, and everything that you've had to navigate. So I truly 100% appreciate you. You know that for a fact, but I wanted to tell you. I also want to thank you for declining, because I probably would have lost 5-4 again, or maybe win 5-4. But I appreciate you stepping down and doing everything you've done.
All right. Anybody else?
And interject with humor.
I tried to.
I'm a little worried.
Well, no,
You get used to it.
I'm very proud of this meeting. This is the best meeting I've been in all the time I've been on. And I think you can say that, Bill. He's the senior man, but, you know that part in The Godfather when they're sitting around the table and Don Corleone gets up and hugs
I've
the
already
guy
lost control.
who knocked out their son, and everybody was happy after that. Well, that's the way I feel. I mean, so I have to say, we don't take that as a
My
word
first 2
for it.
minutes are going great.
You don't understand. And that's good. I feel good now. That's good.
It's very
Thank
difficult,
you.
it's very difficult when you've got good board members running, and it feels like it divides a board up. But what it's gonna do is it's gonna make us stronger. It's gonna make us work better together. But it is very difficult when you've got board members running. For many years, we've been very, fortunate, unfortunate that we've only had one candidate nominated. So it's made it very easy and comfortable for board members. These are the tough decisions. You think this is a tough decision, wait till we gotta talk about coming back to school, whether our children are walking through the doors, or whether we're gonna continue with distance learning, because, again, there will be some local decision on this. You know that's gonna come, there will be local decisions.
Yep.
So, some of the tough decisions is gonna make us stronger and work better together as a team. So, excited to move forward. Joe,
All right.
get control again and take off.
All right, Shelley, 4.3, please.
All right, 4.3, appointment of committees of the board.
So we have several committees, some of them that are required by our policies, some of them that are not. So I need some members for the Audit and Finance Committee, please. Ian, Kathy, all right. Ian and Kathy. Anybody else?
Eli, who else is on it? Eli's on it and Jeff Gasper.
I'll continue to. Do you want to stay on, Jeff?
Okay.
Okay. Ian, Kathy, and Jeff. All right, Policy Committee.
Can I say it?
Rhoda's
Rhoda?
on it.
Danielle?
Danielle.
Rhoda and Danielle.
Who's the third one on that one? Oh, Kathy was on everything.
Kathy was on everything.
Does anybody else want to be? Policy Committee is always right before the
Yeah,
Board
like
of
a half hour
Education
before.
meeting. So, Bill, were you on it too? Do you want to stay on? Because it's right before the board meeting.
I can stay on.
Bill, okay.
Okay. All right. Facilities. So
Stay on.
Sam will stay on. I'll stay on as well.
Yeah, somebody else does.
I would like to, kind of change the focus of that committee a little bit. It's been a committee that has kind of been, it's kind of sort of met, kind of has, it's had like kind of in flux kind of focus since I've been on it for the last 3 years. And I'd like to change the focus of that to be more of a strategic planning and professional development committee. A committee that oversees the professional development and workshops for the board, and then works to build a strategic plan for the board and works along with Sarah to build. I know that Mrs. Spelly has a plan already kind of that she's worked up, so works on reviewing that. So
With the workshops, all the workshops that we will plan in the future, will that be derived from this long-range planning committee?
yes,
Okay.
yes, the focus of those workshops and the focus of and
Okay.
everything alongside with our strategic plan, because I think the strategic plan should drive our workshop.
Okay.
I'll share that.
So, okay, Eli?
Can I be on it?
Rhoda? Yep. Rhoda, and can I get a third please for that? I can
You
jump on
always
as well.
take it.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, when nobody else takes
Yep,
it.
yep,
the
yep.
president takes it.
Yep, I mean, no problem. I was on it anyway. All right, curriculum and instruction. Kathy? You wanna go back on Daniel?
Danielle, you're on that one too, right? You want to stay on that?
Danielle.
That one usually meets early morning, just so you know. That's one of those committees that, we like to do it while school's going on, because sometimes we go in and we observe a program or something. So that's usually an early committee, so you'd have to be able to be freed up in the morning.
Is there anybody else that's available to be on that committee? I know you were on it for 1 year. You want me to go?
Thank you, Rhoda.
Thank you. Rhoda? Yep, Rhoda. All right, representative to COSBA.
Is that
That's,
right now?
I think it's Kathy, it's you right now, right? Is there somebody that would like to? It was you and then Ian
Well,
was
we
the
don't,
alternate,
and
right? Oh, Bill,
Bill,
the
yeah,
alternate.
because Bill
Yeah.
sometimes involved in, with BOCES.
Yeah,
Bill, how much do you think we're gonna be meeting with COSBA? It's not very often anymore. Might be quarterly,
yeah, order that.
so whoever's gonna sit on that, it is usually a quarterly meeting, and usually it's like at 5 o'clock in the evening,
Yeah.
over at BOCES.
I can jump on it if you don't, do you want to be on there?
Bill, you wanna stay as the alternate, because if Bill's
And then
there,
you
he's
want to be
there.
back on, Kate? You want to stay on?
Okay.
Thank you. And DPC are more or less linked to the district parent council.
Yeah,
I've been going to some of those meetings.
sometimes I have 3, 4, 5 of you,
Yeah.
sometimes we have 2 of you, sometimes 1.
Yeah.
But do we want to have an official person? Do you want to say Danielle's almost at all of them?
Yeah,
Well, I think last year, that's what you said, and then I said, well, I'm gonna try to come to as many as I can, but not everyone. But, and I'd like to still continue to do that. Again, I can try, I try to
Yeah.
make them.
And Ian will be the alternate?
Last year
Beautiful.
we could.
Ian and Danielle?
Yeah,
Very good.
The other thing, if I
That's
could
personal
suggest,
day usually.
the other thing that we can perhaps do, right, is that we can alternate. Like,
Yeah, I'll not.
we can assign
We tried to do that
Kind of
last
whoever
year.
can go.
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
our
I'm there a lot.
district parent council is the first Monday of the month, so it's very easy, and we start at 6:30. Is that right?
Yeah.
I haven't had it in
There
3.5
hasn't been one.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6:30.
Either 6:30 or 6:45.
Yeah. So it's an easy day to remember. It's the first Monday of the month, so. But you're all invited to come to it, so I mean, we love to have everybody there.
All right, AEF, Kathy? And then really, that's only one person, right?
Yes.
Yep. And then I will, stay on as the Central New York School Board rep. Because I guess I have a 3-year term with them.
And Joe, and I was gonna bring up, talking about starting a new committee up, but
Yeah.
you said to me
Yeah,
that you wanted to have the discussion, and I said I was gonna bring it up, so
I have
go.
one
Before-
question, before you do that, one quick
Yeah.
question. Last year this happened to advocacy?
that's what I was just about to ask.
Okay.
Do we still want to have,
Yeah.
Ian, do you still want to have that
Yeah,
up?
I think, I just assumed it wasn't on here because it's not like a requirement.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that'll continue,
I
that,
remember from last year.
Ian will
So, yeah.
continue.
So-
We have to change the dates of those sometimes according to schedule.
Yeah.
We tried to keep it as consistent as you could, but sometimes events are going on where we have to have different dates, so, but advocacy will definitely still be going on, and that'll still be in, and, I don't think we need, Danielle's
Well,
on
we
for
always
that
do
too,
this
yeah.
together.
I mean, anybody,
Ian,
welcome.
heading it.
Yeah,
Like,
I just put in the
no
Danielle.
catch.
Sorry? Oh, yeah, and then Ada's not on here too, Jeff, you still, Ada?
Just signed up for another couple of years.
Okay. So Jeff Gasper will take Ada, Kelly.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Jeff, did you get sworn in already? Did they just did the swearing in?
Yeah, I just went and filled out my stuff at the city and, yeah.
So he's already, we should like make a note of that and maybe just move that appointment ahead of whenever the swearing in is.
So it was last Saturday, right? Was the listening session? Yeah, last Saturday. So last Saturday, I was at the listening session, downtown. I know, Rhoda was there and Eli, of course, and Ian, were you there as well?
I was
Or-
watching.
Okay. And, a few of our students spoke, a few of our teachers spoke, a lot of community members spoke. And one thing that definitely jumped out to me from a lot of the speakers was that there are a lot of community members that want to be involved with bringing diversity initiatives into the district and working with the district to make us create a more diverse focus, for us. So, Dr. Lou, right, Lombardo?
Mm-hmm.
He brought up, one thing that really struck me in it, an affinity group, a working group, a government working group of community members that work together to bring about change. So I thought it would be interesting and appropriate if we were to create a diversity and community outreach advisory committee, a committee that not only finds ways to bring more diversity initiatives into the district, but then also brings some ways to help our community outreach as a board, and get more community input into some of the decisions that we make, other than just, community members grabbing us at Wegmans and yelling at us, which is welcome as well. So I would like us to discuss that committee. It's a committee that I just can't form based on our policies. We have to create it as a board because it brings in community members.
Can I make a suggestion? One of the things that, like Sam said, I have been very involved in the community with what's going on in the movement of diversity and appreciation for all lives. And it was very disheartening to sit on the school board for 9 years and hear a former student talk about how she faced racism, a current teacher to talk about how she faces racism amongst her colleagues, to hear a teacher, current teacher, share the same sentiments of what's happened to him. And then yesterday, the NAACP had a meeting with a small group of folks that were working on, it's called what's it called, Rhoda?
A small group of people that need.
No, our name for Unmuted.
Unmuted,
That's
okay.
a series that we're doing, meeting with Black families to get their input on some of the things that we haven't really focused on. And again, one of our students, former student of mine, talked about how he wasn't really inspired, but he only had a few set of people. So, to hear that, right, it's disturbing. And I know that we are really not like that, so we have to change. We have to be better. And so what I would propose is that we create, through the superintendent, a diversity task force. This is a group that we are agreeing to with the district that is intentional. Remember when we created for the football field, right? For the turf field, we created a committee. It was intentional, right? There were several key members. There was people. There were students. There were committee members. There were board members, and it worked and operated and provided guidance. And so I think that with everything that's happening, right now in our district, to take on a committee that is composed of us versus a task force that we oversee, and we would have board members there, right? I think would do us more justice, right? Because they talk, folks from 3 to 4 events have said many things of what they want to do to the high school and what they want to do, and they are adamant about it. So why don't we create, right, and you were part of the first one, creating a task force that we can actually lead, right? And they can guide us and give us advice. We will have Sarah, Camille, we'll have everybody to be a part of it, and they can give us advice. We could take about a month to create it, to be strategic, and then be able to start implementing it just the same way we did with the turf. I think that will set a tone tremendously for the district, because it allows folks to give input. And I dare say that Jeff will always be part of it, right? Because he, as a superintendent, he can say, I cannot do that, or yes, I can do that, or you got to help me out with doing certain things. So that's I think that, because to put all of us to talk about it and get a few other people, I think it might give us more. So that's just my recommendation, that I think, and I've been thinking about this for quite some time, that I think it would help the district in the long run, getting everybody that's out there talking, come sit down and tell us what are your thoughts, and let us guide you through it. So those are my suggestions.
And what I would ask Eli is, again, we're going to need assistance from the NAACP, from the Human Rights Commission. We're going to need leadership that helps guide us with those conversations as well.
And since, President Shepherd just proposed a new strategic, instead of long range, but a strategic planning and professional development for the board, I think that strategic planning group, right, which right now is Eli, Rhoda, and Joe, can create the framework for that task force along with you and the district, and then present it and say, this is a task force that we want to put in. These are the key people that we want. You said the NAACP having one member. You said Human Rights Commission. All of these facets that represent our community, students, parents, one person from each of the schools, a teacher from each of the schools. It would be a huge group, but that we can create that plan and then charge that task force to do the work that is needed.
So that group also work to help also students and community members of not only from a race perspective, also our poverty,
Yes.
handicap, anything that puts a child or a family at
Diversity is a big word, too.
Yeah.
That's why I think using one elementary, making sure that we have an elementary teacher representative, administrators, right? That they can say, here's my struggles, here's what's going on. And Casey will have a different one than Herman and Owasco. And so we need to, creating that hub, that group, that task force that will really get us where we need to. It's not, and I mean, there's a lot of conversation out there. I think it would help us.
So am I hearing that the committee, we're going to cross out the committee, this is going to be a diversity task force. Our long-range planning committee will come up with the parameters, and we will create the group. We will have that. And again, this might take a couple of meetings for us to make sure we get the plan correct. We don't want to just come in and say after one meeting, we've got this whole plan ready to go. So your guys are going to want to set up a meeting, Joe. We'll have Joe set up that meeting quickly between us, like this month, like within a week or two, to have that conversation and start the initial planning. So the committee will push away. We will be bringing the diversity task force piece back to the board.
But it's the board okay with that?
You need people to sit in on it though, so are we taking members that want it?
From the long run, we'll come back,
Yeah, I got
we'll come back by the July 28th meeting with a framework for a task force.
Okay.
And the request to form a task force at that meeting.
I was just gonna say, if you were looking for members to assign, I would be a member, that's what I said.
So, all right. Awesome, so that's all the committees, we don't need to talk about the diversity committee anymore, it'll be a task force. All right. Does anybody have any other committees that we left off the list that you, all right.
We've got advocacy on here, added.
Yep. She added advocacy and ADA, right?
Advocacy and ADA.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, can I have a motion, please, to accept the committee list and assignment? Motion by Sam, second by Bill, or Ian? All right, motion to accept the, committees by Sam, seconded by Bill? Ian? Thank you, by Ian, sorry. All four?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried.
5.0, appointment of district treasurer. I will now administer the, oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So can I have a motion to approve, Ms. Besta as the, district treasurer, please? So moved. Moved by Eli, second by Kathy. Any discussion? All four?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried.
And now I will administer the oath to the newly elected district treasurer. Okay, that's. You could raise your right hand, please. I, Patricia Besta, do solemnly swear. I, Patricia Besta, do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of New York. And the Constitution of the State of New York. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of. That I will faithfully discharge the duties of. District Treasurer for the Auburn Enlarged City School District. District Treasurer for the Auburn Enlarged City School District. According to the best of my ability. According to the best of my ability. Congratulations. And if you could. 6.0, appointment of deputy treasurer.
Can I get a motion, please?
So
Moved by Kathy,
Second?
seconded by Bill, or Sam, sorry. Discussion? All four?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried.
I will now administer the oath of the newly elected deputy treasurer. That's proper. You can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Tessa Crawford, do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And I will support the Constitution and the Constitution of the State of New York. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of. Deputy Treasurer for the Auburn Enlarged City School District. For the Auburn Enlarged City School District. To the best of my ability. To the best of my ability. 7.0, appointment of deputy clerk.
Can I get a motion, please?
So
Moved by Kathy, seconded by Jeff. Discussion? All four?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried.
I will now administer the oath to the newly elected deputy clerk, Pamela Skamsky, to come forward. And if you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Pamela Skamsky, do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of New York. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of. Deputy District Clerk. For the Auburn Enlarged City School District. According to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
All right, Pam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. No, thank you. Yes, I'm very happy, trust me.
8.0, discussion
Yep, oh,
8.1,
I usually write them down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to look up. All right, so we need, some, board links, which hopefully we'll be able to go back to the inside of our school again sometime. So let's start out with the high school. Like, I think I'm the current link here, or was it here?
Kathy,
Kathy will take the high school?
Kathy's got it.
Okay.
Junior high?
Junior high? Junior high. Yeah. All right. Casey Park.
I'd like to stick with that because that's going to be the most complicated office
Yeah, there's a
ever.
lot going on. All right, Sam and Casey, Genesee?
Yeah, and many of you might want to stay in the
Yeah.
buildings you were just because we were shorted by 3.5 months and we really didn't get a chance to. Some of us didn't get to go, a lot of the end of the year conference, the field days, the moving up days, those are what we always look forward to, so. Herman Ave.
Permanent.
I'd like to stay in
Wasco?
Wasco? You know, Wasco.
Ian?
Seward. Yeah. You want to, I could take Seward, or I was gonna take the boosters.
Probably take Stewart.
You want to take Seward?
Eli, you got Seward, now you got athletic boosters and music boosters.
I could take the boosters.
You want both of them?
Sure. I think that's usually the way to go.
Usually.
Yeah, I can take the boosters. Yep.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Want to talk about these at my
And yes, so we also have gotten an email, Jeff's evaluation has been, made available. So we need to get that in. Our board policy says we're supposed to review that at least by August 1st. So it takes a couple hours to fill out, super time consuming. You haven't done one yet.
Nope.
So check your email and make sure it's there. You might have to ask Tom to actually put you into those.
No, I got an email.
Did you get an email from Super
Well, it
Rita?
said something about an eval, I just put
Okay.
the subject, so I'm assuming that was.
Okay, yeah, that's the one.
And our goal was to get that out by June 1st, but because the budget vote was until mid-June, we couldn't really fill out all of it until the budget vote was complete. So, again, unprecedented years, there's not much, but it is done, it's ready for your review. And Joe, or Kathy, Kathy was still the president during my evaluation for that year. So I don't know, Kathy, if it'll get passed to you or to Joe, one of you two. So once it's given, it'll be locked. Kathy will have to approve that and lock it back up, and then we'll be able to meet and, take care of that. But it is time consuming.
Do you have to start and finish it all at once, or do
No,
you?
you can start and stop. You just gotta make sure that it's safe.
Yes, make
Yeah.
sure, please make sure.
Um,
The first year we did it, I didn't save it, and I had to redo the whole thing.
Oh,
And I suggest that once you finish, that you create a PDF copy of it, because the last time I did it, Kathy said that I still wasn't done, and I'm like, oh, you bet I did. But I saw my PDF one, and when I went back in, some of my stuff was missing. So I was able to just copy it and put it back on there. So make it a PDF for yourself so that you have it, and then that'll make it so much easier.
So if everybody could take a look at it, I'd like if we could look at it by at least, if we can go over at least by the second meeting in August.
Wait, don't we need to get it done by August 1st?
Yeah, but
It has to
just,
be done by August 1st.
it does, but
Yeah.
just because of the year and how it extended out, the only one that could object is me, and I would certainly not during the unprecedented time. But,
I mean, we could try to put it on the it would be the July 28th meeting to talk about.
that's up to me, I know, road.
So, I mean, that's,
Kathy, can you share some information? Once it's done, it composites itself, and
Yeah.
you do that?
Yeah.
So it's just, so it's really 10 minutes after everybody does it that we can pull it out.
It's just the fact of getting everybody together.
yeah, it usually takes about 2-3 hours to get it done. And it usually takes me about 2-3 hours to get it done.
Road in
It
2-3
takes a
weeks.
while, it took me 2 hours, so, because you have to
Yeah.
put comments in.
You know what, do the best you guys can, and I'm sure Joe will keep me updated on the progress, we'll figure it out.
So, yeah. Okay, workshop.
Yeah, sure.
July?
I would like to, propose, if you you look at the plan that I shared, one of the concerns that we all have is communication, right, amongst ourselves. And so I felt that it was, one of the things that we should do is have a workshop that is about us 9, including the superintendent, but what is our protocol for communication? And we all have a conversation about that, and we dedicate those 3 hours so that then we can really get to know some of the things that we really, what are some of the things that we need to support each other with. This is, and we can say that that could be more like we talked about, Kathy's been talking for so many years about our board evaluation, and maybe that can be a part of it, but really, how are we going to communicate? You know, when us 3 meet with both of us meet with the superintendent, how do we relate that to you? How do we have the proper discussion? Those are the conversations that this workshop would be about, where we're talking about it, and we are coming to some common ground. And so, you know, with that in mind, you know, since we don't meet to the 28th, I'm hoping that perhaps we can decide on the 14th, which is, it spreads it out, you know, Tuesday the 14th, if you could look at your calendars. That's my proposal, but of course, we'll go with whatever anyone can. I figured we could keep things on that, you know, on Tuesday.
I already had it in my
I do
calendar.
too. I already
I
have.
already got it in my calendar.
Okay. The other thing that I was gonna bring up with that is that on that day, one of the things that I think makes sense for us to do is that we decide our committees, maybe not the facilities, because it just constantly meets, but that we decide concrete when our committee's meeting for the rest of the year. Block it out, put it in, it's over, so that then everybody has it in their schedule, in their calendar. Then we don't have to really, if we can change later on because of whatever circumstance, we can. So that's what part of what the workshop would look
And
like.
that's on the 14th, you're saying?
Yeah, so is everybody available to do a calendar building workshop?
Can we do 7, though?
I was just
You want to do 7, not 6?
I have, online.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter to me, 6, 7,
Yeah.
What's the time?
it's the 14th.
The 14th?
And would you all be willing to do it here,
Yes, we've
spread
got
out
to
the way
stay
it is,
spread
it
out.
makes sense that we're in present?
Yep.
We've got to stay spread out, so.
What time?
So let's say
7
7 o'clock on the 14th, it'll be a calendar building workshop. Calendar and communication
7 to 9?
workshop. Yeah, 7 to 9 on the 14th calendar and communication workshop.
And we'll devise the plan, if that's what our goal will be, is to walk away with a plan.
Yep. All right.
Could we like set, I mean, this is something that I would like to propose, but also maybe we could model it. Like, could we send ideas to you in advance so that we're
Yeah,
not
please.
kind of just.
Yeah,
So we can build the agenda.
yeah.
Please.
So,
Yeah.
are you okay if they send them, you send them to me, I'll compile them and give them to us?
Yeah, can we, would it be possible for people to, I'm gonna assume that we're gonna have agenda planning on the 9th, so, like the week of the 8th, if, you know, just free throw some ideas at us,
Are you like just?
the whole
I mean,
board
I'll-
email address.
I'll try to I'll remember to do it.
I'll send-
If you
I'll
send
send
out
it, yeah.
and say, hey, we're building the plan for the
Yep.
communications and
Yep.
last minute ideas.
And if I don't hear from somebody, I'll give you a call, on sometime that week, if I don't hear from people. So, I don't like email, I like the phone, so, so expect me to call a lot. So, I'll take it along, I like to talk to you. All right, does anybody have anything that they would like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to just, have a discussion regarding, open meetings and what our future looks like as far as board meetings and workshops, whether they're gonna be, in person. Again, there is guidance, we can't have more than 50 people gathering. But, you know, Kelly, as you can see, the reporter was here at the meeting, it was open to citizens to come. We have to have guidelines on our reopening of our opening.
So you're asking us that we need to discuss it?
Yep,
Okay.
what people are comfortable with.
I mean, I know that this isn't an ideal setup since we're kind of yelling. I mean, if there's a way that Tom could figure out how to use the main camera to broadcast these session, because I'm sure
They don't
the
work-
millions of people watching online
they
don't like
don't-
looking at me.
Yeah, they don't work that way, I don't believe.
Okay.
Well, let's meet with Tom next week and
Yeah.
see what we can do, but as far as the board is concerned, a comfort level of meeting in person with social distancing, with masks, with hand sanitizers, and again, allowing, usually community members, we usually have 4 to 5, no more than 7 people at our board meetings, where we can socially distance them and seats in the back like we do us 3 back there. But again, it was getting a little bit difficult doing it online, with all the pauses, delays and everything. So again, all we can do is plan with the information that we have in front of us right now. Our information is our cases are down, doesn't mean they're gonna spike up again. We have to play it year by, but if we were to meet next Tuesday, would people be comfortable in this type of setting? I guess that's my question.
Tuesday, the
14.
7th.
No, I was just saying,
Two Tuesdays.
if we were to meet next Tuesday, would we be comfortable with this? But, yeah, okay, I'll use the 14th. Will we be comfortable doing this?
You're saying with the public.
Well, with letting the public in, but again, we know with the public coming in, it's usually Kelly and it's some presidents of our unions that join us as well. Again, we would have to limit it to no more than 50 people here, but
I'd rather have I don't know if we want to have a discussion about it now, but, I mean, if people aren't wearing masks, I don't know if we need to post required masks.
we would post all the requirements of coming in, just like we are with our reopening.
Touchy subjects or whatever,
Yeah.
but I don't.
And I think like you said too, you don't know what will happen, we don't know, look what 2 months ago what was
Correct.
happening.
Correct.
Yeah.
We don't, so I mean, right now for that day, I'm saying, yeah, that's fine, but like if they're,
Is not, we would use
yeah,
good
or
judgment.
like sometimes I think it is, if you have the opportunity to reduce your exposure and you don't want to, then, the Zoom is it's not fun.
It's an option.
It's an option.
It's always
So
an
I want to
option.
make sure that's still an option, but, yeah.
I will say it's nice having all of us in the same room.
Yeah. Nobody pulling on your shirt. Nobody.
So good, so we'll plan for the next meeting to be here, open. Again, if something changes within the week, trust me, we will make that determination. So, okay, thank you.
Anything, does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up under discussion items? For the good of the order. All right. Shelley.
Consensus agenda items 9.0 to 47.3, and voting separately on addendum item 48.1. I will read that one after the consensus.
Can I have a motion, please? Moved by Sam. Second by Rhoda. Discussion. All for?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried.
48.1, add authorized due process agreement regarding student number 995004071.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So,
Moved by Jeff, second by Kathy. Discussion. All for?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried.
adjournment. This meeting will adjourn at 5:13.
Almost 40 minutes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Jeff, do you wanna,
Jeff, is the plan still the July 6th?
Monday, yep. So you guys will see it in your Friday update. I send it all to you.